Good morning and welcome to my workshop. In this short video we're going to take this motor and clean it. This little motor, an OS Max 25 FP. It was put into a model airplane a few years ago, probably started once or twice, and since then it's been sitting in this model and has gone stiff. There's clearly a lot of oil inside it, and we have to fix it and clean it. And this is what I'm going to show in this video, maybe two. What we're going to do now is to disassemble it completely, piece for piece. And I'm going to show how to do that. We don't need many tools to do this. Here's a 2mm hex key, 8mm plug remover, and an Allen and a Phillips screwdriver. We really don't need anything else, or do we? Here's a little plastic tub I'm going to use to put everything into. The first thing we have to do is to remove the silencer. It is fastened on with two Phillips head screws, and we just screw these off. And since we have the silencer, we might as well disassemble it. We need a small spanner for it. Here's a lock nut, which we begin with by taking that out. This spanner isn't really up to the job, is it? Here we go. The nut is loose. We can also mention that we can turn the output in any direction we want to using these screws. This fastening screw reaches all the way through the silencer, so we have to be really careful because these long ones are not available anywhere. There's not a lot of gunk inside the silencer, but there is some hardened oil. Here's the screw. And this cone should be loose, just drop out. Again, not a lot of gunk, but some hardened oil. And we can also see hardened oil inside this part. Here is a little nipple. We really don't have to take it out. It's used to give back pressure into the tank. The motor itself, or engine, and we begin by removing the carburetor. It's a job to do that. This screwdriver is not making it. I found a bit that fits exactly into the screws. This is really important. We mustn't destroy the screws by using the wrong screwdrivers. And these screws don't really have to be that hardened like this, is fastened like this. Now we can remove the carburetor, and again it's everything is full of hardened oil. It doesn't really come out easily, which it should. There we are. Here we can see an O-ring, and it's best to keep it there, at least for now. Here's the needle valve. We can screw that out. We can see that there's a residue, some green residue on it. This is not a mold. It comes from the copper tubing from the tank. These were allowed to deteriorate. The needle valve assembly should be removed, and a 7mm spanner fits exactly. And now we can remove the assembly. This is where the fuel enters into the carburetor and is metered by the needle valve. We have to clean this a little bit, so it's good to take it off. This little screw, it's got a flathead. That's we really do have to use all our tools for this. So you should be able to unscrew this with just your fingers, but because of all the hardened oils, we have to use the tools. What this screw does, it hinders airflow through that little hole in the front of the carburetor, and you can meter the low. This here holds the barrel inside and controls how much it moves. We'll take that out. There's a spring on it to make sure it doesn't vibrate loose, and now we can take the barrel out. Again, it's sticky with oil. Here is it's a channel in the barrel, and the screw reaches into this barrel. On the barrel we have this plastic arm. We remove this because we don't want to have plastic and metals for while we're cleaning it. We use different kinds of cleaning solutions for plastic. And here is the carburetor housing. This again we have to clean out because there's a film of oil inside it. It's a hardened, probably running oil, or now we're going to remove everything from the motor housing. Engine housing, we remove the drive, the prop nut and prop this, yeah, whatever it's called. This holds the prop on, and this this and the prop shaft are made of steel, as well as this nut, and this this has been allowed to rust. We're going to have to remove this rust. Here's the drive something. There's a plastic ring in front of it that has been used to center a prop on the drive shaft. This plastic ring is stuck on there, and I have to use a knife to remove it. Here we are. Here's the plastic ring. We don't really need to use it again, but we don't throw it away. The drive plate should drop off, but it doesn't. So we usually probably have to use other methods to do it. I don't have a draw claw to do it, so we go here to the back of the motor of the engine and open the back, but we need to have this kind of hex key for these 4 screws or bolts. This one is very good, but it doesn't give us the same power. Don't have the same torque. Now I can use the other one because the screws are loose now. Here we have this back. Before we take it off, it's good to see how it's oriented. Here at the top there's a little flat. It's molded inside the lid, and it should face top. Here we can see a lot of oil and a little bit of rust that came from inside the motor. The aluminium doesn't rust, so we can remove this we don't want to use strong cleaning solutions for this gasket. So we just pry it off very carefully with a knife. The oil, of course, is not helping. It would, of course, be best if I could get new gaskets, but these are not available here in Iceland, so just take it very gently. And now we have it shown 5 times the speed. And here is the gasket. The oil, of course, prevented us from taking it off. I'm going to keep it here separately from all the other stuff so that it won't be damaged. This back we then have to clean. Now we can see inside the motor, inside the engine, and we can see that the drive shaft has rusted a little bit, and we really do have to clean that off. We have to remove the head, and here we use a special wrench for the plug. It's 8 mm, and the plug comes off. With it there is a little gasket, and then we have 6 little bolts, and we just loosen they all come off with a 2 mm hex key. So this L-shaped one is best because it gives you nice torque. And when the bolts are loose, you can use the straight one. Now the head should come off. There we are. Between the head and the sleeve, there should be a steel gasket, and it is here, stuck to the head. We really do have to watch it not to destroy this. This gasket gives the correct space between the head and the sleeve. The head is not that dirty. There's just a film of running in oil on it. And now we want to take the sleeve from inside the motor, and we have to try and get it out. And that would be best done by putting some kind of bamboo tool. Here's a shrimp fork. Just put it in there and turn the shaft, and this lifts the sleeve out and loosens it, and here it comes out. Again, everything has a film of oil on it. Here we see a little hole which goes over this pin. There's a tiny pin in the head. When we put it together, this hole has to fit over this little pin. Now we have to get the piston out, and we do that by just rotating the pin and then lifting the piston, the piston rod out in the correct place. That way it comes off the drive shaft. It's got a very narrow pliers, and I should be able to move the piston rod so that it drops off the pin in the drive shaft, and there it drops out. This piston rod can move a lot so that it's easy to install it and take it out. The gudgeon pin that holds the rod and the piston together is covered with plastic, so if it doesn't fall out, which it should do, it's best not to try and force it out, because we don't want to disform that plastic. I'll be cleaning the piston and the rod, but this is so sticky that just as an example, if I don't hold on to the piston on the piston rod, it should drop down, but it doesn't. It's just stuck there. It's also interesting to see if it's made of steel, but it's not. It's made of aluminium. And we can inside the piston rod there are sleeves for not to hold it. Okay, now the question is to get the drive shaft out of the engine housing. To do that, we get us a piece of wood. We have to make the motor, the engine sit. It can't make it sit on the ground. We have to put something under it. And a small hammer. Just a little tap and it's off. Now the drive, there's so much oil on this that there's no way to make it drop off as it should be. Here's the prop. This has a flat on it, and it fits on a flat here on the drive shaft. These fit together so that the prop shaft, so the prop driver doesn't just turn on the shaft. Here also we have a thin steel disc or washer, and it comes between the prop driver and the engine housing to prevent it from scraping together when we're starting with an electric starter. This we have to clean, and here is the drive shaft, and it is also it is so gunked with oil and rust, and it's disgusting. We have to clean this off. The motor, the engine housing, inside it we have a sleeve that reaches all the way into the front. It does not come out. It holds the drive shaft. There are no here we have all the parts from the engine. Here's the carburetor. Here's the drive shaft, the engine housing, the piston and the sleeve, the plug, the back, and the muffler. Before somebody asks, this is about 47 parts. Maybe more of them because I have not taken this apart, so let's say 50. That's not that much for a motor like this. In the next video we're going to clean all of this and maybe assemble it again. Thank you for watching.